You're listening to The Morning Show with Dave Hyde on 99.2 Hermitage FM, online and on your smart speaker.
So I've got New for the Matchstick Skeletons on the phone. Hi, New, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. You're joining me all the way from LA, I believe.
Yes, sir. Los Angeles, California. It's a pretty decent day out. I'm gonna go surfing this afternoon, I hope. We'll see.
I want to be honest, we've had nothing but snow for a week, bad rain, and it's really, really cold.
Oh, then I'm going to shut up about it. Sorry.
Oh, no, you go enjoy your surfing. Just going over the band's history, sort of before we got in, started talking and things, I started looking at the band, and this wasn't your first band you've been part of.
No, man. Look, I've been in bands since I was like a kid, but the one before this that made a splash, it was called Head of the Herd. And it was fun, man. Like, we opened for Guns N' Roses. We had #1 hit. That's the one we went to Rockfield in Wales, and that's the greatest studio of all time.
So it's not just yourself who's part of the band. You've got Matty as well, who helped form the band?
Yeah, so basically Matty and I, we were both in Head of the Herd. And then when that band blew up, him and I just kind of looked at each other and were like, let's start writing songs. And then from there we found Ryan Stead and Cole Friesen. And so it's the four of us that are the Skeletons. And it's really just like, man, it just clicked. Like, we just knew pretty quickly this was the type of thing we've been trying to do for a long time. So I just feel lucky that I met those boys when I did. And when I called them, they picked up the phone and said yes. And
you and Matty recorded some stuff, you say, at Rockfield.
Oh, yeah, dude. It was one of the coolest sessions we've ever been a part of. Like, Ian Davenport is this fella. He produced the first two Bandit Skulls records, which to me was like perfect rock and roll album. And so he scooped us up. His studio's in Oxfordshire, and we drove over to Wales. And we had the drum kit from OK Computer in the trunk, just rattling around. And we were just like,
that's got to be scary on the UK roads as well.
Oh, dude. We were just like, if we crash, we better die, because I'm not walking around as the guy who busted up that drum kit.
Well, just for anyone who knows, Rockfield's in the middle of the sticks, in the middle of Wales. It's in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Oh, it's dazzling, man. You open the door and there's just cows. So it's just full immersion, right? Like, you're fully into experience because you don't have an option. And it's lovely. It's how I love to record, man. And it kind of, we were on tour last year with this band I love, the Glorious Sons. And then when the pandemic hit, I basically took the band's RV, went into the middle of the California desert with some instruments and my dog and a camera, and same kind of deal, man, full immersion. You open the door, coyotes and rattlesnakes, and it seeps into the music.
Well, just to go back to Rockfield, that is a place that's got so much history in the UK. It's down to the likes of Bohemian Rhapsody. You've got Oasis that have recorded there. It's a museum.
Oh, yeah, man. I got to play the piano from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
That'll raise your pulse, man. It's terrifying and lovely and memorable and terrifying. It was beautiful. I loved it.
When you sat there in that piano, is it like, Freddie Mercury's touched them keys?
Yeah, it's a trip. It's like it's hard to kind of get your head around. And the cool thing about it, I just learned so much from that session. And like, there's one song where like Ian, he mic'd the piano bench and he mic'd the pedals. So when you listen to that song, it sounds like you're sitting next to me. It was one of the most creative things I'd ever seen done in the studio, and I love and respect that man to the end of the earth.
Some of these sound engineers just know what to do, don't they?
Yeah, just to find the feeling the song needs. Like, in that studio, and in every good studio, everything's in service of the song. And when people are fighting, it's usually because one person's trying to get in the way of the song, and the other person's just trying to let the song beam through them. And that's just the mark of, one, a good band that's communicating properly, and then versus one that isn't. And so with this record, we really just tried to listen to our hearts and not get in the way of the song. Let the song be, and then at the end, we'll see if we like it.
So coming forward off that, when obviously the band collapsed, you were signed by a major record label. When did you and Matty decide that actually, you know what, we're going to make a band, this is the name, and these are going to be the styles we're going to have? Yeah,
like, it wasn't, the idea was there, but we didn't get to it for a minute. Because, like, that band was our whole life. And so that going away, get down a bit. So I went a bit off the deep end. I made a really freaky electronic record. I started scoring films. And kind of when I puked all that out of my system, I called Matty and we sat down and started writing tunes. And it was kind of when we found Told You So, it felt like, okay, this is real. This is the band we want to be in. Let's hit it. Let's do it real. And now we're here, man. We got the first LP coming out.
So was Told You So your first song you wrote together as the Matchstick Skeletons?
No, it wasn't the first one, man. We went through a few pretty crazy sonic ideas before that one hit. But when that one hit, we knew it was the thing, and that was the sound we were going to chase and just try to build around.
Because you also work with some crazy producers and mixers Mark Rankin, I believe, as well.
Yeah, so Mark, he mixed most of the LP. So basically, we got a record coming out called Change the Channel. And so he's an English dude. He lives out here. And he's brilliant, man. I just love working with him. And, he's done Queens of the Stone Age and Adele and Weezer and Spoon. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And Ben Kaplan, who mixed Told You So and a few of the other songs on the album, that guy is unbelievable. It's hard to describe how creative that man is. Between the two of them, a pretty cool sounding record, I reckon, man.
So do you think that from your first, because obviously this song, I'm going to be honest, I've looked through, the internet and scrolled through pages. This song originally came out in 2018, I believe.
Yeah, so we bopped it out on the Know How EP. And it just it's just one that still feels like the right waving flag for us. And because we'd never done radio campaigns over in Europe, we had a lot of chats about what to lead with. And we just kept coming back to this song. We're just like, you know what? Even if people hate it, it kicks the door down. You're going to notice when this song comes on. So we wanted to lead with that.
Because it's a fantastic track.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Well, it is a fantastic track. It's upbeat. The whole sound of it is it makes you listen. It makes you want to listen to the whole track. There's not one part of that track where when it gets to the end, you sort of like, is that it?
Yeah, and we just love that moment when the wheels fall off halfway through. And the cool thing about just like the history of this song is like we toured this song, man. We played this to thousands of people, and every night it just destroys the place. And so it was really important to us to know, like, okay, this isn't just like a studio idea. Played this live in front of people, and it mattered. And with that in mind, that's why we kept it around, and that's why it's a single right now.
So has the sound changed, or the band's sound changed since 2008 up until today?
Yeah, man, like it's certainly evolved, and a big part of that is like Told You So. That song we made before we had Ryan and Cole around, because it was just an idea, man. We were doing it in private with our own money because we wanted to be able to bail if it sucked. And once we liked it, we brought those other boys in, and all the new stuff that we've done with them just has a bit of their flavor in it, and they're really just creative, beautiful people, and I love what they did with these songs. So yeah, I think it's evolved, and I think it's moving in the right direction. Yeah.
Well, it'll explain why they're not in the video.
Well, because we made the video before they were in the band.
I want to know, what's the name of the skeleton in the back of the car?
Oh, Wilfred Sculpture. Don't trust that guy.
Because there's a making as well, and I love the fact, is it your director doing the voice for him as well?
Oh man, we were just crying laughing that whole day, because we said that to some people, and they're like, wow, this is professional, you must have spent some money, and we're like, yeah, but really it was just us messing around in Maddie's brother's garage, and just like Matt Brasha, he was the guy behind the camera, and he's just like, he's an old friend, man. He's known Maddie for their whole life, and it was just so fun getting to make this with your buddies. Just no pressure, and it ended up working out. It's like my favorite video I've ever been in.
It's when you're sat there when you hear the voice of the skeleton, you're sat there answering it, and he's talking back, and then it cuts at one point with, I'm not sure who's in the back of the car, and they turn around and go, well, you really can't see the strings. That was the line I took away from it. You can't see the strings.
That's 20 pound plus test fluorocarbon, man. That's a damn fine fishing wire.
And then on some of the stuff we get sent through, there's a key line on this. I absolutely love this key line. It says that you've gone full Walter White because of the new LP that's coming up and went into the desert, which you've already mentioned. I love the fact they mentioned Walter White in an RV as well. Please tell me you wasn't doing the Walter White thing. It was writing music.
Yeah, like, man, it was. Yeah, I wasn't cooking meth. I was cooking tunes, but you're just like, you're out there in a really strange environment. Like, it's slightly inhospitable, but it's so beautiful. And like, the thing about the desert is, my grandmother lived out there my whole life. I spent a lot of time in the California desert. But you get out there, and some people look at it and they say they see nothing. And I always reckon, like, just keep looking, and then nothing will start to move, because there's life everywhere. There's life where you didn't think there could be. And there's just some lessons in that I thought. It's just like, when something doesn't seem enough, just keep looking. Probably something there. And songs work the same way.
Because on your YouTube channel, you've got a few videos, obviously being in the Joshua Tree area.
Yeah, that's where it started, man. When the pandemic hit and we didn't know exactly how radioactive this thing was, like, I live in an apartment, I live near people, and I thought, I don't have to be near people right now, and I know if I bring enough gear, I'm going to come back with something cool. So yeah, I took off for a month, and it was awesome, man. It was super fun and strange and lonely, but lovely.
So you've come back with a lot of demos.
Yeah, and honestly, I went in with some demos that came back as full songs too. Cause oh,
brilliant.
Yeah, you wouldn't understand how much how much gear I brought in this RV. I basically brought my whole studio with me.
So did you mix while you was out there as well then?
No, so I didn't mix it. I just tracked it.
Okay.
And I always do like a rough mix, but like I knew I was going to hire Mark to do it later. So I try not to spend too much time on that. Just try to work on the songs because you can over tinker and waste some time, especially if you know you're going to shop out the mixing anyway. So it was really just trying to be creative every day and build on what I had and start some things from scratch and come home with an album, and we did. I'm stoked.
So the one question I need to ask, what is your dog's name?
Oh, Stringer.
Stringer. Has Stringer got a credit on the new LP?
Oh yeah, like he's staring at me right now. Yeah, I need to say it because now he's staring at me. But yeah, and we haven't told a lot of people about this, but we filmed a video for the song "I'm the Dog."
Oh, brilliant!
And we coupled up with this animator in Quebec, who's brilliant, man. And let's just say, Stringer's a star, and there's some trippy desert hallucinations happening.
Yeah, so he definitely gets a credit somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it be like a shaker and it's his nose across the carpet or something,
Yeah, exactly.
And are you planning on coming back to the UK once all this COVID nonsense is all over and done with?
Oh, dude, absolutely. Like, you gotta understand, like, since I was like a teen and played my first rock and roll gig, that's all I've thought about doing. And I don't have any other real desires. So this is the weirdest time of my whole life to just not have that focus. Thankfully, I had a record to make and I had this beautiful band to communicate with. God damn, we're looking forward to getting back on the road and getting on a plane and going to see you guys.
What's the biggest thing about touring you're missing?
I suppose the purpose, as strange as that sounds. But even if it's 3 a.m. and you're whizzing through the highway in the middle of the night, listening to Prince, eating spit, there's just this profound reason you're doing it, right? And even if one gig sucks and the next one's good, there's a reason for all of it. And I wake up every day knowing exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go sing rock and roll, and I'm going to go drive to the next city and go sing rock and roll. And it's just a really beautiful, strange time in life, and I miss it dearly. It's hard to describe.
Well, I was looking through your past credits who you've toured with. So obviously you've got Guns N' Roses. That must have been amazing. Oh, dude,
it was one of the craziest days of my life because we didn't get the call with a lot of notice. Like, really not a lot of notice. So we were in my hometown playing a gig, and our agent called us and was like, "Hey man, you're playing with Guns N' Roses in a couple days in Montreal." So we had to rip back in one go, get on planes. Like, half of us had never been to Montreal, and we just get off the plane and go straight to the venue, get thrown in front of the biggest crowd at the biggest venue we've ever played with the coolest bands that we never thought we'd get to see. It was life-changing, like, truly. And it was like right when our song...
Is it the weirdest sound check you'd ever do?
It's pretty odd, man, because you just feel like you're breathing rarefied air. You feel like, are we supposed to be here? And then the show starts and you're like, oh hell yes, we're supposed to be here.
And then you've played with Alice Chains, Deep Purple.
Yeah, man, that's Matty, like, he ripped around with them for a while, and he said the cool thing about that band is, like, they sound check and then the organ player just sits there for hours in an empty arena and just plays the organ for hours, just covers, plays his stuff. And Matty said he would just sit there and listen to this beautiful sound filling this enormous room, and this guy just ripping. It's so fun to people who like to play still, right? There's a lot of jaded musicians who don't the guitar unless they're getting paid.
Yeah.
So when you meet someone that just loves it, hang on to them.
And then you've had Theory of a Dead Man, Buck Cherry, which I actually love. And then I think the last one you did was it The Glorious Sons, you said earlier. Yeah, so that was the last gig I played, man, was with them. We did LA to Denver with them in 2020. And then quickly the rug got pulled out from everything live, So I feel really lucky we got to do that. And the Glorious Sons, man, they're friends of ours and just like a band I truly love. And I'm so stoked they have had the success they've had. And they're just going to keep getting bigger, man. The band's unreal. So it's going to be great when you sort of come back over to the UK. You know your haunch, you know where you want to go, you know what you want to do. Yeah, straight up. And is there anybody looking forward that you'd like to sort of collaborate with, sit down and write something with? Oh, there's a couple chats I've had this week that I can't talk about right now, but if they turn into what I hope they turn into, I can answer that question in the future. But yeah, there's always, man, there's always people I like to work with and write songs with and record with. And let's just say I'm taking a big swing on this one, so I'm hoping it works out. We'll make sure you've got my email ready for when that one comes out. I'm telling you that one. Yeah, deal. But I want to know something as well, because I did look at them things, and obviously looking back and looking forward. Was it yourself or Matty that played with Shania Twain? Oh, so it was actually so Ryan and I, we met together. Actually, funny enough, you know how you're referencing the behind the scenes video? Yeah. With the skeleton voice?
So that actually wasn't the director. That is country music superstar Wes Mack, who happens to be my childhood best friend and a guy I talk to every single day.
Never.
And so he got that gig opening for her, and he hired me to play bass because we're just friends and we like going on tour. And that's where I met Ryan. And then, from that, like without that tour, Ryan wouldn't be in this band. And so that's why I keep it in the bio. I know it's ridiculous. And sometimes I just tell people that I watched 16 Shania shows in a row. But
it was just a weird name in the middle of that list of people.
I know. I like to put it in there because some people skip over it. But the story is just funny because, like, literally, I got to go on tour with my best friend and play these ridiculous shows and meet one of my newest friends and a guy I love too. So just good things come out of tour, man. Always, every time.
Well, thank you very much for joining me this morning.
Hey, I appreciate the chat, man.
I wish you all the luck in the world, and I can't wait for you to come back over to the UK and come and see one of these gigs that you're going to be playing.
Oh, yeah, man.
Your new single, Told You So, is out now.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to play that straight away for everybody.
All right, wicked, man. Appreciate it.
No problems. Have a good day.
Get back at you.
Enjoy your surfing.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're listening to The Morning Show with Dave Hyde on 99.2 Hermitage FM. Online and on your smart speaker.